Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Phyllis. It's nice to see you. Welcome to my studio. It's me, Kae Pea. I'm here at the Moon and the Maker, home of RubberMoon art stamps, and I'm getting ready to do another day of STAMPdown. Woohoo! So, hi, Robin. Yay. That's okay. You're not really missing because you can always come back and catch up. It's nice to have you here live, though. I appreciate it, and I'm excited to be here again. So I know that I said I was going to do a different artist every day, and we are. I've been trying to slowly work my way through our repertoire. Let's see, so far I've done a Marilyn Kelly stamp more than once, a couple times actually. I did Mary Englebright. I did an Elizabeth St. Hilaire. Who else? I did one of my own. I did I did Joni Hallmarks. I've done a Kim Geyser. So we still have a few more. I'm going to do some Jessica Sporn soon. And I don't know. We'll go through the list and I'll make sure that I get everyone. But today I'm going to revisit a couple of my own stamps just because I thought it would be something sort of fun. So what I have here, we're going to do splashing our stamps just a little bit different than I've done in the past. So what I'm using right now is just a block. I have an easy block of this fluid hot press watercolor paper. Doesn't matter. You can easily use whatever kind of watercolor paper or mixed media paper that you have, but we are going to be using water media. So something that can take a little bit of water. I just have a few stamps here. And obviously they're very used and loved, so you can't really see the images very well. I'll stamp them out for you, but these are from my Imperfection collection, okay? So I just have 3 of the stamps here. I'm going to stamp them out for you just on a piece of scrap paper so you can see what I'm using. I'll just stamp them in black so you can get an idea. So, and again, I'm just stamping these so you can see the actual image. I'm going to use, and I'm so sorry, but of course, you know me, you know I don't know the names of these, but they are from the Imperfection collection, and somebody, I will post them later, or Maxie Moon or Mr. Moon can post them here in the thread once they start watching. So I have that little sort of, I don't remember what I even called these, a little leafy thing. Good morning, Deb. And I got this little sprig, okay? And then I got this little cluster. All right, so we're going to use those 3 stamps, at least as far as I know. You know, I might change my mind and pull something else in, but I don't think so. I think these are the ones I'm going to use. So I'm going to set them here. And I did also want to show you what else I'm using. I do have a few tubes of my core watercolors. Okay, so I have a quinacridone red, a nickel azo yellow, and a sap green. And you do want these tube colors. I also pulled out some of these blank. These are the blank 2x2 pads that we sell, and I have them on our website just for convenience, but I really like the size. I like that it has a clear lid, but I also like that if I'm using these pads and I want to, this one's dry. I don't have anything on it yet, but I can use my lid as a mount. So it's really handy, especially if I'm just using a couple colors, you know, and a couple stamps. So just a little tip for you there. But I'm using my tube watercolors in a different way. I know that you've seen me splash my stamps, but I've never used the actual tube watercolors on a pad before. And I'm going to tell you, I really like it. There's some things about it I will tell you as we kind of go along. You do sort of have to use a lot of paint. Surprisingly, I painted up one of these pads the other day using indigo, and I know you can't really see it, but I actually have a couple different colors on here, so it's kind of cool. You can smush watercolor onto this pad and then use it you know, as an ink pad. The only thing is it will get very pale color. Like, it's not going to pull up thick dark color the way that you think. You have to either spray it to re-wet it, or, you know, but you're still going to get thin color. So a lot of times you have to reapply your color right on here. But it's a great way if for those of you who watched me this summer splash my stamps for World Watercolor Month, you know that I was applying my watercolor most oftentimes with a brush, doing it this way. Okay, but this is really nice and convenient, and especially if you like I said, keep it pretty juicy. Okay, so I do have one, and I don't want to call it inked up because it's not ink. It's watercolor paint squeezed right out of the tube onto one of my dry pads. Okay, I have a few here, and the nice thing is they really last longer than you think. Hey Jan, I'm so happy you're here. I'm showing a new way of splashing our stamps with watercolor, only using some of the dry pads that we sell. I want to say inking, and I'm using air quotes. I'm painting up my felt pad with watercolor. Okay, I don't know if you can see that kind of sitting on there. It's pretty thick. I know you can kind of see that. It's pretty wet and juicy, and you kind of have to keep it like that. The amazing thing, and I tried this was painted up or inked up a couple days ago. It's still not dry. Let me kind of show you. I can still get color off that. Okay, so but when I go to actually ink a stamp, it's a weak version. Like, you don't, even though you get some on there, it's not a very good stamping. Or, you know, like, I guess if you wanted a shadow stamp, it's fine. The cool thing about it, as you know, is like it's still a little bit movable. Now that doesn't have a lot on there, so it's not actually moving a ton because there's not a lot of pigment on there, but you can see you can still manipulate that a little bit. So what you're going to want to do to get it, if you want a thicker, more opaque stamping, is go ahead and give it a nice coating. Okay, and if you want to spread it through, then I suggest taking a clean, obviously clean and sort of wet paintbrush and just running it through there a little bit. And then you're going to get some pretty nice stamps from that. Ta-da! All right, so it's just a little bit different version, a different way to splash your stamps. I don't know why I didn't really think of this before. Actually, I did. I tried it. I have tried doing this same technique, only using these inks, and it doesn't really work. Okay, these aren't inks. They're radiant watercolor concentrates, but they are more of a dye-based watercolor. They're not the same, artist quality watercolor. So it does not work with these, okay? At least to my experimentation. But with this, I really like it. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to take our little imperfect little leaf. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. I have to get the names of these again. Sorry. Jan, you're watching. I think, let's see. Phyllis said this is the imperfect leaf, and that's one, but I think we have a few of them. This one is like the more kind of pointed one, and it's sort of longer and skinnier. And then, of course, I have my little sprig. I think that, I don't know. We have a couple different sprigs, so I'm not sure if that's what it's called. And then we have this cluster, okay? So I'm going to actually, I am going to ink or paint up, I shouldn't say ink, I'm going to paint up this little cluster. And the only reason I'm not using, I'm not inking it this way is because, or taking it to my pad that way, is because I really only want a little bit of this actually painted in, okay? I just want to do a few of the little center clusters here. And it was a little dirty. Got a little mucky, but that's okay. It honestly doesn't matter that much. Now I'm going to take my Quinn Red. I have a little misting bottle here. I'm going to mist it just a little bit. And I don't know if you can see this, but I do have a pretty good little amount sitting kind of on the top of the pad, because I do want a generous stamping. And if I even want more, remember I can go back and smush some more red on here. I think this makes such a beautiful poinsettia, and the reason why is because I love the little, so even when I pull into this, and really I'm kind of covering up the detail a little bit, but really not. I'm still seeing a little bit of that underneath, and I really, really like that. The nice thing is you can use these almost as if you're using, a palette. It's not going to hurt anything. So I think this is a pretty handy way to carry some watercolors with you if you were going to travel and you wanted to do stamping and or painting. I love just thinking of new ways to use materials, and I love just innovating and exploring. I think it's really my favorite thing ever. And this center was a little bit green. I wanted it a little more yellowy, but my brush must have been kind of dirty, but it's okay. I can obviously go back in and add some little yellow or goldy type details. So I'll just go back in and use a little of my nickel azo yellow right in there. I want to I kind of need to make sure it's clean though. I think it might be a little dirty. All right, and then of course I have some green. This is sap green, and I have my little sprig stamp here. I'm going to give it a little mist. And voila, you have a beautiful poinsettia. Well, I think it's kind of beautiful. And of course, you know, you can go in and touch a little bit of water if you want to give it a little more of a watercolor look, or you could easily leave it just stamped like that, whatever you want. I'm going to put, I think I just want it to have a little bit of a background. And I love teal and red together. I think that would make a really cute little color combo for a Christmas card. I'm gonna trim this off right here. And yeah, you could pop that baby right on a card. I'd probably cut it a little bit more offset so that it's not exactly centered. I like things that maybe are just a little offset more than being plopped right in the center of the card. So when I trim it up, I may do that and add a little sentiment, and I will be good to go. I'll actually have one card for someone. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed our stamp down for today. It's pretty fun to get out your stamps and, you know, just take a little bit of time for you to play and explore, because it is good for the soul. Anyway, yeah, I love the way that some of those little bits of detail just show through without being, you know, in your face. So anyway, oh, Puff, no, I didn't see, but it was a pretty quick one yesterday. So, and today too, I'm trying not to keep, I know it's getting ready for the holidays and we're all busy. I'm trying not to keep you here all day, even though I'd love to. I hope you have a beautiful makey day, and I hope that I will see you back here tomorrow at 11. Thanks again for joining me for our Stamp Down to Christmas. I love you all to the moon and back, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Jan, yeah, I need to clean house too, but I'm probably waiting till the last minute for that one. I'm still working on my studio. Have a great day, all. Bye-bye.